Welcome to Mor-In The Know podcast. I'm your host, Josh Morin, co-founder and vice president of Field Supplements, as well as sobriety, woke, business, and wellness coach. Mor-In The Know delivers array content based on marketing, health and fitness, personal branding, addiction, and often goes down the rabbit hole of conspiracy, politics, and the truth. If you seek to better understand the inner workings of human performance, consciousness, business, and humanity, you have come to the right place. Thank you for tuning in and tagging along. Let's get today's podcast started. What's up, everyone? Let's get this figured out here. I'm doing a makeshift podcast in my bedroom. My roommate's watching some TV on a Saturday night. I just literally rolled in the driveway 5 minutes ago. It is 10 p.m., 10:01 p.m. on Saturday night, and this is episode number 33. And as you can see, I'm just going to go ahead and take these off. As you can see, I look like a hippie. I just came out of the mountains, and that's exactly what I am, and that's exactly what I became or got back into today. Was my roots. My roots is being a hippie, man, and being back in the wilderness and being in touch with nature. And that's so important. And I forgot the importance until today. And I didn't really forget the importance because that's today's message is two things, really. For the last few weeks, I've really felt something inside of me that I feel like there was some tension inside of me, and I knew even through my breathing techniques, through my meditation and through my yoga, through my working out and through my daily practice, that I still had this desire and I still required this release. And that release was as I was missing out on nature. I haven't taken my shoes off and played in a body of water. I haven't played in the dirt, and I haven't gotten dirty, and I haven't gotten sweaty, and I haven't really breathed in that nature and that outdoors air, that good quality air. And not to make any excuses, but the tail end of my truck has been essentially out of commission for the last 4 or 5 weeks and not really safe to drive anywhere far distance. So I've been holding off on my adventures during this time, and I really could feel it over this time, really building up, feeling this charge building up. And today, that charge, I felt such a release. I was able to get into nature. I was able to jump in some cold water. I was able to swim around, and I was able to take my shoes off for about 6 hours today and walk all over the dirt and the rocks and the water. Man, it was awesome. It was really, really awesome. I'm going to get into that. That's part 2. But part 1 is I always feel, I know words do not return void, and I know your word is law, and I feel like this is a common story with mine, and I'm really okay with this story being my story. Is that I feel when you're with me, sometimes plan A, like what we initially are going to do, sometimes plan A falls through, but it always seems that the mysterious plan B, which I never even make a plan B just comes on the fly. Whatever happens after plan A falls through is exactly what I require. And it turns out to always be this beautiful experience every single time. And I said that today. So let me tell you my story from today. So my plan was I was going to go up to this very well-known and heavily trafficked trail up towards Sedona. And yes, it was crazy even getting up there. It took me over 2.5 hours, close to 2.5 hours just to get there. I was in stop and go traffic 50 miles north of here from Phoenix, and man, it was tough. I was like, man, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to, once we get there, if there's going to be, it seems like it's going to be packed everywhere. I think these trails are going to be overloaded. And sure enough, when we got there, we were too late. There was over 500 people already at this trailhead. And I was like, wow, this is absolutely insane, especially coming from Montana. And he said, yeah, we closed down the trailheads. There's too many people on these trailheads. So sorry, that's just what it is. And so instead of getting upset and getting frustrated and being like, well, what the fuck am I going to do now? I said, I got this. I'm going to figure this out. So I pulled into to South Sedona, didn't pull all the way in because the traffic was crazy. And I just pulled up my phone and I just started looking up locations. And I said, well, maybe Sedona is not the area to go because on the maps, it was going to take me an hour and 45 minutes to go 12 miles. And I said, whew, the roads are redlocked. This is a horrible weekend to be up here. I said, give me a sign. Give me something, man. Give me something. Give me a sign. And it said Fossil Creek. And I know that I've had some friends go to Fossil Creek, which is over by Pine, Arizona, and Payson. And I've never been there before. I've never been there, been in that area. I don't I don't know the exact specifics of what that area requires for permitting or even where to go. So I looked up this information and I was like, ooh, Fossil Creek it is. Fossil Creek has some waterfalls. It seems that it's out of the way. It's about 50 miles in a different direction. And I feel that maybe that was the best opportunity for us to go explore and not have so many people. So sure enough, I plug it in and we drive an hour and a half to Fossil Creek. And sure enough, I start to pull up some information that says you need to have permits are required to be hiking this trail, or permits are required to park your car. And I was like, you know what? I'm kind of a rebel. If you guys can't tell or haven't noticed yet, I don't always obey the rules. And I would gladly buy a permit if it was available to me. And just on the fly like this, I just want to see what's going to happen and what the situation totally entails. So what happened is we were about 4 miles from there, and 2 miles in on the road, I saw a sign that said access closed to Fossil Creek. And I said, man, whew, looks like we're striking out again. But I said, you know what? Instead of turning around here, as I've seen so many cars just turning around, I said, the gate's open to go keep driving down this dirt road. I said, why don't we just drive down this dirt road and see what happens? And I don't know how many times, I couldn't tell you how many times I've said, hey, let's just drive down this dirt road and see what happens. And you know what something that happens is? Something beautiful happens. You know what happens is God or source or creation brings you to the exact destination that you were supposed to be. Maybe plan A fell through. Maybe my first attempt on the day, maybe that fell through, but maybe that's not what the plan was supposed to be. Maybe that something was going to happen to me, or something that tragic was going to happen. Who knows what the situation was? Maybe somebody was looking out for me and said, you know what, not today. You're going to go experience this trail. You're going to experience this outdoors, this whole beautiful nature that this area just includes. But today is not the day, Josh. You're going to experience nature. You're going to experience yourself. You're going to experience your rooted self in a completely different way in Fossil Creek. So I kept driving, and guess what? I saw that there was a trailhead that you could park at. The trailhead to hike down to Fossil Creek. And I said, heck, I'm going to pull in. I'm going to park. I didn't see any other cars have permitting or anything like of the such. So I said to myself, this is perfect. I said to myself, even I was saying it in the car, the truck ride. I said, this happens every single time. Every single time my first plan falls through, my second plan always is this incredible experience. It's almost like I had to go through this letdown phase. I'm not even let down. I feel like when something doesn't go through and something doesn't go to plan, I don't even get mad anymore. I said there's always a solution. I always live in that solution, and that's exactly what happened today. And I said, man, let's just see what today unfolds. I said, I'm just here for the ride, baby. I'm here for the ride. I'm gonna love every single moment of this. I didn't get in my head. I didn't get upset about how far we had to drive. I put on 6 hours. Drove over 6 hours today. Woke up at 6:30. I just got home at 10, and I put over 6 hours in my car, in my truck, in my vehicle, just driving, on top of about 6-7 miles hiking, and about 5 hours of being down by the water and diving into the water and these waterfalls. So let's get into that a little bit. So we get to the trailhead, and I said, man, I'm just gonna start hiking. I go to the first sign where it gives you a map of where you're at. And I said, well, this brings us down to water. So regardless of the situation, if there's waterfalls there or whatnot, so this is going to bring us down to water, exactly what I'm looking for today. And I said, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. So sure enough, it brought us down to water. It brought us down to this gorgeous waterfall and these 2 caves that you could go into. And the caves were just crystal clear blue, illuminated by the reflection of this water. And you could see all the fish swimming. And it was amazing for Arizona. It wasn't that dirty, brown, shit-stained water. It was just crystal clear water that just reminded me of being somewhere in the tropics, being somewhere in Hawaii with this water where you could see all the fish and all the animals underneath the water. And it was incredible. It was so awesome. And the second thing that happened today was there's this group of guys that I feel that this happens to me every single time I'm out somewhere, as I always attract just phenomenal people, man. I always attract these people who are just full of life, love, and the zest for adventure. And I felt I this group of guys, and they're their mid-30s, they're out having a phenomenal time. So I connected with them, I exchanged their information, and we'll see where that goes, as I'm always seeking to connect. I'm always open to this receptive nature of being able to connect and attract those who are on the same vibration. I felt that happened today. We started talking, and we really just, man, we were on the same level. We were on the same vibration, and it was just an awesome day. It was an awesome day because I absolutely required it. I required it so much. And now it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm doing this podcast. I had to makeshift some things in respect to my roommate. I'm in my room, and instead of, I'm drained. I'm absolutely drained. I'm drained physically, but I can feel my soul, man. My soul is just illuminated. My soul is just filled up. And this is exactly what I required, and I knew it. And that's the second and the last thing that I'm going to speak about is in your life, if you're like me, or if you're not like me, we all require nature so much. And we get lost in saying, I got to work, or I have this to do, or it's just easy just to not take an adventure and just go out and maybe, like you said, maybe plan A falls true and it doesn't happen, but you always have a plan B, and you just live in that solution. But we require that nature because nature teaches us so much. It teaches us so much about ourselves, and it reminded me of what I'm grateful for. It reminded me of my true rooted nature, and that it brings out that, oh, really who I am. I'm really this person with this fucking bandana on, with my hair all long, my face dirty, my shoes and my feet are just nasty. This is really who I am, and this is who I was for 4 years prior to the last 2 years before moving down here. And that's how I lived. When I look back on how I lived, and I went to the mountains, and I grew my beard out, and I grew my hair out, man, I was so full of fucking love. I was so full of life and zest. And I remember all the phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal lessons that nature brought to me. And that's really what drove me to figure out who I was as a person. And I will be the first one to say that the last couple years, I've kind of veered from that. I've kind of decided how I'm going to live in this concrete jungle, and I'm not going to go out as much and explore as much because there's too many people in Arizona and this and that, and I would justify all these things, and I make all these excuses. And that's exhausting. And instead I said, I'm getting back to my roots. I can have this hippie lifestyle still, but with this business mindset. I can still have that because I require that. I require that to be and stay at my best. I require that to be and stay rooted. And that's the message, is there's things in your life that are so good for you if you just do them. And going out into the wilderness and going out into the nature, you don't need to hear it from me. You already hear it from everybody else. It's so great for you. Charge your body. The transfer of electrons and protons from your body than your feet that you get when you take your damn shoes off and you ground yourself and you earth yourself, and just that positive energy that you fill yourself with. I'm tired physically because I put in a lot of work today, but mentally and spiritually, I'm more full and more ready to tackle this week. I'm just full of it, and this is exactly what I require. And I'm going to continue to go back to this. And I'm gonna, now that my truck's fixed, I'm gonna have some adventures coming up in my near future. So I just wanted to share that Line 11 positivity. It's 10:14 now, and man, on the way home, I just started crying. I started crying because I really required that release today, and I felt that. And it's okay to do the things that fill your cup. Don't ever be ashamed, and you're never too busy. You never have too much going on. You never do. Stop justifying your situation. If you love something and you know it's good for you, because I know this is what my body requires to maintain and be and function and operate at my true and highest potential every single time that I go out into the wilderness and I spend a day or 2 or 3 or 4, however long it is, even if it's a day, every single time, that next week to 2 weeks are some of the best producing weeks in my business. And that is a fact. That's a fact. And there's no guessing when it comes to that. There's a direct relation of being off my fucking phone. I spent 0 time on social media today. I didn't even open I didn't even open my Snapchat. I didn't even open my Instagram or my Facebook because I didn't give a fuck. I wanted to detach from that. That did not matter today. What mattered was myself, and I required that, and I knew that, and today I delivered that. And you should deliver what you require for yourself, either tomorrow or the next day, but write it down and commit to it because you absolutely deserve it. Thank you for tuning in. This is episode number 33, a late night episode, but guess what? I did it. I committed to it. And that's the part of it is like, I'm not slipping, baby. I'm not slipping. I might go out for a day. I might go out for a couple days, but I might do 2-3 podcasts in a day if I have to, because I'm not going to slip. Because when I commit to something, I commit fully, and you should do that too. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. As always, you can find me on Instagram at Mor-In The Know. That's MORINTHEKNOW. Field Supplements. I'm rocking the shirt today. Give me that fuel, baby. Give me that fuel. Give me that power. Give me that strength to climb up and down those damn trails because my friggin' feet hurt. You can find us on Instagram at Field Supplements as well as fieldsupplements.com to make all your purchases. This is a Memorial Day weekend. You can use code FUEL25, receive 25% off select items, not including sale items or protein products. I appreciate you guys. You all have a blessed evening. You're not going to see this message until Sunday. So have a blessed Sunday, everyone. Love you.